You know the worst possible mindset you can try and optimize your life for?
Go on.
Happiness. Happiness is for women and children. You're allowed to be happy as a woman, and you're allowed to be happy as a kid. As a man, if you wake up and go, I want to be happy today, you're going to do unimportant, narcissistic, hedonistic garbage. You're either going to eat too much, drink too much, take drugs, sit around and play video games, smoke weed. You're not going to achieve anything if you want to be happy. It's ultimately temporary, and you sit there and go, I want to be happy today, I want a happy day. You're not going to achieve anything. You show me a man who wakes up and says he wants to be happy himself, I'll show you a bitch. Because that's not what you're supposed to do. As a man, you're supposed to wake up and say, all right, my life might be shit. I'm going to suffer. I may be miserable, but every single person I love is going to be happy. This whole idea of how happy am I is the easiest way for a man to destroy his life. If you're chasing happiness, you're only going to do hedonistic garbage and achieve absolutely nothing important. If you wake up and say, I don't care how happy I am, I want to be proud of myself, I want to make other people proud of me, so I have to do all these things irregardless of how I feel, you're going to have a fantastic life. If you wake up and say, I want to be happy, you're going to chase silly hoes, drugs, and alcohol.
But that's temporary happiness, right?
But how else can you get instant happiness unless it's temporary? To get long-term happiness is something that's only going to come from dedication and hard work, which requires short-term suffering. It's just delayed.
If you listen and look back on most of your failures, you're going to see that it was your own mind that betrayed you.
There's a version of you that never sleeps in, never skips training, never wastes time. There's a version of you who never fails. It is waiting for you. Genuinely ask yourself a question, you at home. If you had done those things for the last 2 years, you never skipped a training, you never wasted time, you never scrolled TikTok, you never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time. You never skipped training. You were training every single day. You never slept in. You were never lazy. There's this version of you. Imagine the person you would be. Genuinely imagine what you would look like. Imagine where you would live. Imagine the car you would drive. Imagine how much your woman would respect you. Imagine the love you would see in her eyes when she looks at you with adoration like a king. Imagine your existence. That person is waiting for you. And the only thing that's stopping you from being that person is your monumental laziness. You can have it. The universe is very giving. It will give you anything you work for. I've never seen somebody try for something with all of their might and not get it. The only people who do not have the things they want are the people who do not try for them. I've never seen a person wake up and say, my only dedication in life is to solve a Rubik's Cube and fail. You are not stupid. You are not incompetent. You are lazy and arrogant. It's extremely important you understand that that person is waiting for you and you are declining that version of yourself. In the multiverse, in the many different versions of the universe that exist, there is a version of you that does those exact things. And he is a greater person than you can even fathom. You can transform yourself into that guy. You can be a top G. That's exactly what I did. I knew who I was going to have to end up being before I became that person. My brother and I are not from rich families. We are not from advantaged beginnings. But I knew I had to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. That's what I knew I had to be. Discipline is the key to success. Some people don't want to win. And the people who don't want to win are not going to win.
Yeah.
So when he sits and says, oh, we need to balance everything out. You cannot legislate everyone rich. You cannot make a loser have what a winner has because winners are busy winning.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of it. And people say this, not everyone wants to be a hustler. Not everyone wants to have to go out there and grind. Yeah, but some people do. The world's not a perfect place. I've never in my life seen anyone who's determined to get something not get it. I've never seen somebody who is determined in their heart to get something not get it. The universe and God is so giving and providing. People think it's difficult out here. I disagree. I've never seen someone wake up and say, nah, this is all I care about. This is all I want. Not get it. Everyone who thought that way in fighting was a world champion. Everyone who thought that way about money was rich. I've never seen anyone fail. Bro, I've seen people with no credit score and no job determined to get an R8 manage to get one on finance somehow. I've seen it. If it's all you want, you're gonna get it. A lot of people are obsessed with the idea of happiness. And especially as a man, I think that happiness can actually be a very destructive motivator. And when men sit and say, I want to be happy, I want to feel happy. To feel happy, a lot of the time, you're looking for temporary hedonism. To be happy, you want to get drunk or take drugs or do something stupid temporarily, and it's very short-lived. I think you should instead be looking as a man to say, I want to feel proud. If you choose pride over happiness, you're going to make decisions that you're proud of and that people around you are proud of, and it's going to be better for yourself and better for society and better for everyone who loves you, everyone you care about.
If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness? If you cannot force yourself to train when you do not want to train, if you cannot force yourself to work when you don't want to work, or force yourself to eat right, how can you possibly ever become a monumentally successful person if you cannot control yourself long enough to do what must be done as opposed to what you feel like doing? A man must do what he is supposed to do irregardless of how he feels. That is the key component to masculinity, is discipline. If you do not have the discipline to dedicate yourself to anything, you are going to fail and be crushed by the people who can. If you only go to the gym when you feel like going to the gym, you're never going to be as strong as the people who go to the gym when they don't feel like going to the gym. That is a reality of life. So I train every single day. I've actually heard from some people saying, you overtrain. And I explained to them, one, I don't believe in rest. I'm not you. I'm not pussy, and I'm not broke like you are, Mr. Fitness Trainer, standing around the gym teaching people for $50 an hour. I don't need to listen to you. Secondly, I don't train because I want to get bigger. I train every day because it is difficult to train every day. It hurts. I don't want to. I wake up and I'm busy. I have other things to do. I don't feel like doing it. So I force myself to do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so that I know I'm the kind of person who can do what he doesn't want to do when it needs to be done. I am that man. And it is more of a mental exercise than a physical exercise at this point. How can you ever outcompete me if I can force myself to do the things I don't want to do and you cannot? Discipline is absolutely essential for success.
There are people dying in a fucking ditch, bro.
It's true.
You're dying in a fucking ditch, and what do? You're sad about what? You ain't found the time to go to the gym. Why? You haven't worked on anything. You haven't dedicated yourself to anything. Why? Oh, I just don't feel like it. Well, you're a piece of shit. It's ungrateful to the universe. It's ungrateful to God himself to waste what he gives you. You want to talk about how you end up lucky. And I would argue that I'm a very lucky person. You know, on a long enough time frame, I can't think of a single time I've ever lost. It may look like I'm gonna lose, but in the end, I always seem to win.
You're not a quitter at all.
Bro, I'm not a quitter. I'm a fucking fighter. I will squirm to the last second. And there's a lot of men out there, especially in the world today, who only want to do things because they feel a certain way, not understanding that that doesn't make them competitive anymore. The biggest question I get asked all the time is, hey, I lack motivation. And it's an annoying question to me because so do I sometimes. I don't always feel motivated to go to the gym. I don't always feel motivated to work. I don't always feel motivated to do what I need to do, but I do it anyway. It's called discipline.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna wake up every day and lack the motivation to do what should be done and compete against people who will do it irregardless of how they feel, you're gonna perpetually and forever lose. In fact, it makes you a child to even wake up and say, when you're asking someone for motivation, what you're effectively doing is saying, make me wanna do it. Please make me want to do it. I don't want to do it. Make me want to. No, you have to do it. Or you can stay a fucking loser. Where does the luck come from? Comes from God. Who does God favor? What makes God like you? God likes you when you try. There's nothing that's going to piss God off more than wasting what he fucking gives you. If you give someone a Ferrari and they look after it perfectly, you're happy. If you give someone a Ferrari and see it the next day, it's got cigarette butts, it's treated like shit. Would you be happy you gave him a Ferrari? God gave you a consciousness, he gave you a body, he gave you a mind, and you're not even fucking using it. You're crying over that bitch who left you. You're not using it to be the best version of yourself. You're not using it to get as rich and powerful as possible. You're not using it to change the world. You're not using it to protect those you love. You're not using it for anything. And you expect God to make you lucky? God only has so much luck to give out. Wouldn't he give it to his soldiers who dedicate themselves and try? Wouldn't he think, you know what, that Tate motherfucker, he's been through something and he will not quit and he will not stop and he's never said he doesn't deserve it. He's never bitched. He's never moaned. He's never felt sorry for himself. He's never complained. He got up every day and worked. Let's give him some luck. What about this guy? Always crying, always has a problem, always feels sorry for himself, always needs motivation, never gets anything done. Everything's everyone else's fault. Does he deserve any of the luck I have in my pocket? The answer is fucking no. You make your own luck by dedicating yourself to the universe. I said this before, I said it in a rain dancing term. Rain dancing. I said, if you need it to rain and your life depends on it, you should do a rain dance. Now, do rain dances make clouds come? No. But perhaps, by some strange twist of fate, far in the distance, another tribe will see you rain dancing and realize you need water. And they'll think, he needs water. And we need something he has. And they'll bring you water. If you didn't rain dance and just sat there waiting for it to rain, the water would have never come. There's no such thing as working too hard. You'd be amazed how if you just do work, how amazing things happen. There's a lot of people who complain about the bad things that happen in their life, not understanding that without the bad things, you'd have no life at all. You need all of the bad things. You need the mental struggle. You need to go through things which you regret. You need to sit there so that if you've never regretted any action you've ever taken, how can you sit and make a intelligent decision for the future? You can't do it. You need to sit and say, well, I felt the sting of regret for X. I don't want to feel the sting of regret for Y. You need this experience. And that's what life is all about. People think that life is just the good times. And this is the massive misconception. Love is a perfect example. Let's use love. Because people think being in love is holding hands and I hold hands and we cuddle in bed. I love them. Love is the whole spectrum. Love is missing them. Love is breaking up with them. Love is being sad they don't text you. Love is the whole circle. There's no up without down. Anything that has the ability to emotionally affect you positively has the ability to emotionally affect you negatively. There's nothing in the world that can only affect you in one direction.
If you ask any champion of anything, they always envision themselves as champion all of the time. And the reason they do that is, one, so they feel confident, but two, so that if they don't become champion, they're more angry and more motivated for the next attempt to ensure that they do become champion. So that's the mentality and the mindset you have to have. Your mind is your number one ally in all things. A lot of you have been sabotaged internally by your own mind. Your own psyche is working against you. When you have negative thoughts that prevent you from being the best version of yourself, you should understand that your mind is attempting to betray you, and you should feel disgust because you have enough enemies. There are enough people in that opposing trench trying to destroy you. If you're watching this and listening to this right now, I promise you, if I were to give a button to most humans on this planet, if I were to go up to an average man, 25-year-old man of average income anywhere in the world, and say, if you press this button, this guy's gonna die. And I'll show a picture of you holding your dog, cuddling, being a nice little boy, whatever you're doing. I'll make you look sweet and innocent. I'll say, if you press this button, this guy dies, but you get $100 million. You do understand that 99.9% of people will press that button, right? And they'll take that 100 million without remorse. They won't really think about you very much. And if they do, they'll distract themselves with a Lamborghini and with bitches. That's it. They won't care about you. There's enough people in the opposing trench who are prepared to destroy you for self-interest, that the idea of you not having every single part of you on your own side is truthfully sad. You need to be in a better position than that. You cannot allow your own mind to betray you ever. It has to be 100% on side all of the time. Once your mind is on side, once every part of your psyche is on your team, that's when you can go and look for other teammates. You can expand your network of other people whose psyche is all 100% on their side, and you have a unified outlook on the world. Then you can go and get things done. But the idea of self-betrayal is something most of you are struggling with and you didn't even realize. So as a thought experiment, we're going to sit here, and I want you to actually think about it. How many times have you doubted yourself? How many times have you didn't feel like doing something you knew you were supposed to do? How many times has your mind tricked you into procrastination or being lazy? How many times has your mind convinced you that it was okay to fail and lose even though you didn't try your best? How many times have you sought comfort in excuses? How many times have you betrayed yourself? Don't worry about your enemies attempting to crush you. That's another conversation. If you actually analyze most of your failures, you're going to see the majority of them come from self-sabotage. And once you're in a position like me where you never betray yourself, where your mind never lets you down, ever. My mind knew exactly what I had to do. I did not miss a single day's training. I did not lose my mind. I did not go mental. I did not have a breakdown. I acted exactly as I was supposed to act. I was fully professional in all things. I got as much work done as I could possibly do. I was extremely productive. I used the experience for what it was. My mind never betrayed me.
The only shortcut to life is to never miss a day, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. Because when you've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, and you've done it all off of your own back, and hard work and dedication and never missing a day, one, because of compounding interest, and two, if you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, Was I late today? No. On time. And you try and improve every aspect of your life, and you're a professional, and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Now you're lying to me, and that annoys me. And you catch yourself being very elitist. And this is what's scary about it, because I'm from a Luton council estate, and now I have all this money. But if I meet somebody who's truly broke, I'm not talking about you not have hundreds of millions, but if I meet somebody who's broke, I think they're an idiot. And I catch myself going, is that bad? Am I elitist? Or do I sit down now and I just say, no, I started lower than you and beat you. How are you poor? You're lazy. And I think there's only three reasons you can't get rich in the world today, which is either you're stupid, you're lazy, or you're arrogant. And I find the most common one is lazy and arrogant. It's not stupid. There's nobody at home who is too stupid to become rich. I'm sure anyone watching this podcast right now, if you were to sit down next to me and I were to say, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, you could do it. Of course you could. But you're too lazy to learn how to do it yourself.
And you're too arrogant to listen.
And you're too arrogant to listen. It's not about being stupid. You're lazy or arrogant. It's one of the two. Those are the two most common factors of people. So when I meet people who have truly failed and they pretend to me that they didn't want to fail, I know they're one of the three. And it's usually arrogant. Because when I sit and say to them, you could have got out, they don't say, you're right, I could have got out, I didn't try. That shows humility. They don't do that. They say, no, because it's excuse, someone else's fault, the Matrix's fault, no self-accountability. Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about anyway. Arrogance.
Sounds like feminine mindset to me.
Well, yeah, exactly, and then they're going to lose.
Yeah. This is the thing that I don't truly understand. If I'm unhappy with something and I'm uncomfortable with something, I fix it.
Yeah.
That's endless motivation, which I don't truly believe in as a concept, but that's endless fuel for the fire.
Right.
If I was unhappy with something about myself, regardless of what it was, I would be able to take all of that discomfort and turn it into endless energy to get the problem fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
But these people seem to
it's okay to be unhappy.
Yeah, well, these people seem to sit and say, I'm really unhappy with X, but then stay doing X. So I don't believe they're truly actually unhappy. What you'll notice if you live life long enough is that somebody will sit and say to you, I'm unhappy being a loser. You say, why are you a loser? I just sit at home and play video games 7 days a week. And you're like, okay. And maybe 3 days of the week, they're unhappy doing that. Yeah. And that's the time they email you, and that's the time they want to make a change. But 4 days of the week, they don't really, it doesn't really bother them.
Yeah,
it doesn't really bother them. Because if it bothered them 7 days a week, guess what?
They would fix it.
Correct. Yeah. So I have very little sympathy for people. And that's not because I'm not a nice person, but it's because I've been so hard on myself, and I've been through so many things that were difficult, and I've been through so much pain and trauma myself, some of it self-inflicted, some of it given to me by God to make me a better person. But I've been so difficult on myself. It's very hard for me to look at somebody who's refused to be difficult on themselves and see them as my equal or feel sympathy or pity for them.
When people say to me, this bad thing happened to me, I say, good. That's my instant response. This girl left me, good. I lost all my money, good. What do you mean good? Good. This is your chance to take all of that negative emotion, all of those building blocks, and turn yourself into a man that prevents these bad things happening to them ever again. Now, of course, you have to have the agency to do that. You're right. If you're going to be broken by it, then you're going to fail. But bad things are certainly a blessing. I believe that's how God teaches. Please understand, I'm being completely sincere. When I meet somebody, or I look on Twitter, or I look on Instagram, etc., I know that you people will never be able to have the experiences I have because you have failed. For some reason, it pisses me off. It doesn't seem to piss you off. And it pisses me off, so then I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you in my life. I don't want to interact with you because you're just seen as... It's like you have a bad odor. B-O. But instead, it's just a cloud of dismal failure, and it follows you everywhere. Or some excuse. It's not my fault that I monumentally failed. It's the president's fault. It's the government's fault. My ex-girlfriend's fault. She left me.
But no, you're supposed to wake up and look in the mirror and say, this is my name, this is who I am, I'm gonna be the best version of myself, and everybody's gonna respect me, and I'm gonna force them to, because that's the way the world works. Respect can be squeezed out of people. They don't have to like you. You can't squeeze someone liking you. You can force respect from people, and this is actually most observable with women. There's a whole lot of women who are dating men they don't even like.
Yeah.
And they're sleeping with men they don't even like, but they respect him.
Because it's the security that they offer, right?
That's right. The security they offer and the respect. And they can say, I don't even like him that much. In fact, I hate him, but I just do as he says. Why is that? Because they respect you. So I'm driven by that. And I guess, I mean, I've talked to psychiatrists, and there's some psychiatrists who would argue that it's insecurity to feel like you need to prove yourself to the world all the time. And I think that's part of the psyop. They convince you you're insecure if you want to prove you're capable. If you want to prove that you're different and intelligent and interesting, you're insecure.
They always say that you're born abundant any which ways. Then why is the rest of the world poor?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But they say you should have no interest in what people think about you. That makes you insecure. And that is the largest psyop in history. To wake up and say, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to be strong. I'm not going to be interesting. I'm not going to go out there and test myself. And I'm not going to put honor on my last name, because I would hate for people to think I'm insecure. I'm secure. So it doesn't matter if you think I'm a loser. It doesn't matter if I am a loser, because I'm just going to sit at home and I'm secure. No, it's not insecurity. It's called duty to your last name and honor. And that's just another one of the many different tentacles inside of the psyop octopus, trying to snatch any motivation left from the masculine spirit. If I was a man who was unsuccessful and I hadn't met my physical capability or my financial capability or my mental capability or my spiritual capability, I would be insecure. I would sit and say, this is a failed version of who Andrew Tate could be, and I'm not happy with who it is. And I think that every man should be like that, so he gets up off his ass and does something. The reason it's so easy to win in the world today is because the majority of people are perfectly prepared to lose.
Yeah.
You just described, you have to wake up and you have to give a shit. You have to wake up and go, you know what? I'm responsible for my health, and I'm responsible for my finances, and I'm responsible for my family, and I'm responsible for the decisions I make, and I'm responsible for my work ethic, and I'm responsible for my motivation, and I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do to be monumentally wealthy.
Yeah.
And the reason it is so fucking easy is because most people can't do that. If everyone could do that, then to win would be hard. So I would hate for all the losers to start being winners, because then it's hard for winners to win.
Yeah.
And I still want to win against the winners.
Yeah.
But luckily, God has put us in this version of the simulation where it is so brutally easy to surpass everyone around us.
Yeah.
I look at people and just go, you haven't even fucking tried. It's like a race, and the gun goes off, and I start running as fast as I can. And I turn around and no one's even moved.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'll jog then. And I'm nearly done and no one's even moved. Then I start walking. Then I just lay down and just have a rest. And I look at the back of the finish line, the start line, and everyone's still standing there.
Yeah.
I don't feel like running. I'm not motivated. I'm stressed. I'm depressed. How there are people waking up each morning and not giving a shit about their own life.
Yeah.
Who do you expect to wake up and give a shit if you don't? Or even you or me, do you think any of us wake up and go, John, I really need to get John a Ferrari. I really need to get John a Ferrari and a hot bitch and a nice big house. Today I'm gonna focus on John. No, we don't give a fuck. We'll help you if you're here to help, if you're here to be helped.
Now you care.
No.
You care about John.
No, the point is, if John cares about himself,
Then you're about to help
then I'll help him.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all gonna starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor, what do I do? It was, I'm poor, I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Dunno. Where can I get some cash? Dunno. What work can I do? Dunno. I'll just go for a run then. And I'd just go for 3-mile run. Or go hit the punch bag and get better.
This resonates so deeply, man. This is exactly what I did.
That's exactly. You just have to say, well, I have to do something. I can't just sit still and die. A lot of people are happy to just sit still and die or jerk off and go to sleep and take a nap. Well, if that's what you want to do, then you can say a loser. That's fine. I'm glad there are losers, because if everyone had Lamborghinis, my Lamborghini wouldn't be fun to show off. I need you to look at it and feel the deep pain in your heart of regret and failure. That's the whole point of it. I need to drive my Bugatti and everyone be looking at it going, I'll never have one of those. And I can get all their energy and feel it all, and it makes me happy. Fantastic. So you can sit at home and do nothing. But when I was poor, I had to go for a run. I couldn't sit still or lift weights or do something. I couldn't even sleep. So raw action solves everything. And I understood that at a young age. But as you get older, You get to look back and you get to put your whole story together, the whole tapestry together. I knew I wouldn't stay poor. Did I ever think I'd get this rich? Well, I never said I wouldn't, but did I ever think it would probably happen at this level? No, but it's amazing how the compounding interest of just endless raw action adds up. I've never had a lazy day. I've never skipped work, never missed an email, never had a day off, ever. Your name, if you were to go through the last 3 years of my life, you will see that there's never been a day where I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And it all just adds up, and then monumental success comes, and you get to laugh at everybody else, ha ha ha, and life's great. But I really believe God's given me one of the best lives, and I can't complain about anything bad that's happened. It's all been fantastic. I'm truly thankful for all of it.
Do you practice gratitude every day?
But I don't have to practice it because I'm actually truly thankful for all the bad things that happened.
That's beautiful.
I truly am like, thank you, God, for that difficult time.
You created that belief before you had all of this stuff or after you began to receive all of this stuff?
I think if a couple bad things happen to you, you should be intelligent enough to realize that eventually you're going to get over it and you're going to learn an important lesson. It's going to change you in the correct direction. And Allah's the best of planners and he knows what you need to learn. I think that as humans, especially as men, we only learn the hard way anyway. There's two ways to learn a lesson, the hard way and the hardest way. There's no easy way to learn a lesson. You have to learn the hard way. So God gives us lessons via difficulty. He thinks you need to learn this about yourself or this about other people. So I'm going to give you a difficult time so you can learn your lesson. Because if I told you, if I just said, hey, Andrew, this is how the world works, you go, yeah. But when I show you, when you feel it, my fight coach used to say, you have to feel it to believe it. That's why if he was teaching low kicks, he'd kick your leg off. Because you don't believe in the power of a low kick. You don't believe a low kick can be so devastating unless you've felt it. You have to feel it to believe it. So God will give you a difficult time so you learn your lessons. And the lessons are very important for you to be the person who you need to be in this life. He's the best of planners. And I'm thankful for all the lessons he's given me. He's bestowed knowledge upon me. How could I not be grateful to God for making me so intelligent and wise and the ability to look into things so deeply and come up to the right decision and basically predict the future perfectly? How did I know they were all going to arrest me? How did I know how the world works? You have to have difficulty happening to you all the time.
I think one of the biggest things is that it's a lot of people don't see success or they don't measure their own success, right? So there's a saying in fighting and it says, you're never tired when you're winning. And the point is, when you're getting your ass kicked, you're out of breath. If you're kicking someone's ass, you don't get out of breath. It's weird how that works. But life's the same, right? So if you give anybody a business idea and they start to make money, and they're making money, now they're making more money, now they're making more money, most people will have all the motivation and discipline they need to continue doing X idea and become very, very rich. The problem is people try things, they don't work. They try something, no money's coming in. They've tried something else for a year, they don't see the results. And that's the hard part. That's where the discipline's really, really important because you're never tired when you're winning, right? So one of the things you can do is you got to find ways and metrics to measure success. Maybe your goal is to get rich, but you build a website and your goal to get rich. You're not making any money yet, but visitors are going up, right? So at least you have some kind of metric. You need to pay attention to your successes. You need to pay attention to them because that's going to give you all the energy and motivation, the word I don't like to use, the discipline that you need to keep going, you know? And as a completely adverse point, because I like to, keep everyone confused, you also have to understand that not everything's going to work all the time. You have to be prepared to throw things away. So you kind of got to be an adaptable individual, but you have to look for the positive in the universe. And I really mean that. Like, I'm definitely not one of them airy-fairy hippie, believe in the secret kind of people. But I do know that if you wake up every day and look for the positives in the universe, you usually end up, feeling more positive and doing more positive things than waking up and looking for the negative. And everything we said about mainstream media, they're only trying to show you the negative. They're only trying to piss you off. They're only trying to drag you down. They're not trying to say anything that makes you happy. So if you're to listen to that crap, at least be immune to most of it, and you have to have your own internal clock, your own internal systems to make sure you stay on track. If you're disciplined and you have willpower, that can be applied to absolutely anything, right? If you have unlimited willpower and you can always open up a can and smear it on to whatever you're doing, you're going to do well. So it's all about self-control and self-discipline and making sure that you are the center of your own universe. And a lot of people agree with this and a lot of people say this and they go, yeah. But it's very rare to meet someone who's serious about it, in my experience. If you're truly serious about brute willpower, you can achieve anything. Like you could do absolutely anything. That's what it's all about. So I've just had the same universal stubbornness and refusal to fail. And anything I've ever applied it at, I've done very well with for that reason. If you don't have discipline, you don't have anything, right? People often say to me, oh, but Tate, you're lucky. You're a kickboxer and you were talented. Yeah, I was talented, but I didn't find out I was talented until I was disciplined. If I wasn't disciplined enough to train, I would have never seen my talent, because the guy with less talent than me, who trained harder than me, would have been kicking my ass. So you don't get to discover anything about yourself. You don't get to discover any of your genetic advantages, any of your talents. You don't get to discover anything about who you are as an individual, your spirit, your soul, what you're made of. Without discipline, you can't even discover anything. So discipline is a key to discovery. Discipline teaches you all about yourself. It teaches you what you really have. You know, there's a whole bunch of people out there that might be the best pianist in the world, but they've never had the discipline to learn piano. So nobody knows. And that's how life works. So discipline is extremely important if you ever want to become anybody or be anything.
So when you sit and say, I want an easy life, what you're saying is you're a dummy and you want to be a dummy. You want to stay a dummy. I want an easy life and I don't want anything bad to happen to me, because even though it will teach me lessons, I'm too big of I can't handle the emotional pain. I can't handle the stress. So you want to stay a dumbass. I don't want to be a dummy. I want to be smart. If I want to be smart, then hurt me. I don't read books. I never read a book, except for in jail, because I don't have time. All of the wisdom I have, all of this knowledge I speak, all of these things I say have been learned through basically difficulty of life, through professional fighting and being poor and all bad things happening to me and struggle. All of my lessons have been bad things, bad events, bad scenarios, bad situations, pain, suffering, anger, resentment. All of these horrible emotions are how I've learned everything. So I thank God for giving them to me. And anyone who wants an easy life wants to stay a dummy. What do you learn if you just get money, you buy a crypto coin, it blows up, you get some money, you sleep with some girls, you go to some restaurants? What do you learn about anything?
You don't.
When bad things happen to me,
You love it.
I kind of enjoy it. And I think that maybe it's perhaps I just enjoy it for the story. Perhaps my whole life is not about trying to find comfort, it's trying to find challenges, and it's trying to find stories.
The reason nobody has discipline anymore is because it's not taught. Discipline isn't taught, and the idea of being disciplined is seen as negative. Most people don't realize how bad their attention span is or how much discipline they lack until they really start to suffer from it. And that's what will happen, especially as a man. I can't say as a woman because I'm not a woman, but as a man, if you don't have the ability to knuckle down and focus on something for a long time, life's going to punish you. Sooner or later, life's going to wake you up, you know? And the reality of mastery and the reality of success is that it's not really a glamorous story. Like, how do you become the best boxer in the world? You do the same thing over and over for 15 years. Jab, cross, hook. Like, it's boring, you know? Yeah. But that's what discipline is. So the idea that a lot of people want to be constantly entertained, I want to be entertained, that's boring. Well, that's why you need discipline. People want to be constantly motivated. Oh, I don't feel motivated. Listen, if you're not motivated to go to the gym, and that has resulted in you being obese, suffering health adversity, so you're now damaged your health. On top of that, you're less attractive to females. On top of that, your energy levels are lower. If you really need motivation to just lose weight and live a life worth living, then there's something wrong with you. I train every single day and I'm never motivated, but I'm disciplined. I never wake up and think, yeah, I want to train. I've been training my whole life. I'm bored of it, but it's something that has to be done, right? So the idea of entertainment, the idea of motivation, these things are completely detrimental to discipline. People come to me all the time and say, how do I get motivated? I say, you don't, you get disciplined. I don't care if you feel like doing X. You must do X or you will stay a loser. So do you want to be a loser or do you want to do X? It has nothing to do with motivation. So a lot of these things, people are constantly distracted. And I think a lot of the things that are taught and told about discipline are actually detrimental to a disciplined mindset as a whole.
Once you understand all of the bad things and good things that come into your life are a perfect plan from God himself, you're going to be a lot less affected by the bad things. If something bad happens to you, it's part of God's plan. He knows what he's doing. In the end, you're going to be happy it happened. I often ask people, is there anything bad that's happened to you in the past at the time you were distraught about that you now wish didn't even happen? And truthfully, you're like, no, I'm kind of glad it all happened because of. So if you understand you're always going to get there eventually, why be upset about it now, right? If you know in a year from now you'll be glad it happened, why be upset about it happening now? You have to be cerebral enough about things. And I think if you take these approaches, if you take the approach of manifesting what you want so you're constantly motivated and understanding all the bad things that happen to you are just a lesson and one day you're going to get over it, it's pretty easy to be a happy, contented, balanced person. I don't think there's any serious magic to happiness. I think it's a choice and it's pretty easy to do. I think the unhappiest people in the world don't have any struggle at all. You often find that people who are struggling but know exactly what they're supposed to do, if they're getting up every day and they're grinding and they're working hard and they don't have what they want yet, but they believe they're going to get it and they're trying their very best and they're dedicating themselves, they're very happy. Perhaps the people who are born with a trust fund and unlimited money and have no struggles in their life and they have no objectives to try and conquer are truly the miserable ones.
People will shield laziness with anything. No one wants to admit they're lazy. So they'll shield it with disbelief. That's a scam. Or I don't work hard, I work smart. Bollocks. More cover. For just anything it takes to say, I don't want to work.
Do you believe in that? Work smart or not harder?
I believe in both.
Yeah.
But there's a time when it comes to work smart. And most people are trying to do the smart work before they do the hard work. It's kind of like talent, right? You don't notice if you're talented at something till all the hard work's done.
Yep.
I could be the most talented tennis player in the world, but I don't play tennis. So if I go down the tennis court, Joe Schmo is going to smoke me. I don't get to see my talent until I've worked so hard that I'm in the top 1%, and now I'm beating them because I have some God-given gift.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to do the hard work first. If there's no hard work, there's no smart work. So someone's going to sit there and go, I work smart, I don't work hard, so I only have to work an hour a day. If working smart gets you a lot done in an hour a day, then you should work smart for 12 hours a day and get 12 times the work done.
Please understand what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is when you look at what most people do for fun, it's hard. Look, what fun is clubs, drinking, running around, laughing like a kid, all this, all the bad things in life, the negative haramities can be attained through this obsession with fun. If you find a man who's obsessed with work, he's not going to do many bad things. The concept of fun. I have things I need to do, and I feel satisfied inside when I do them. I have duty and I have work, and I have obligations to fill and objectives to meet. I feel happy when they are done. That is my fun. My fun is clearing my emails, making $2 million in the day, buying another investment property I don't need, going to bed, training hard, eating right. That's my fun. Call me boring. That's my fun.
That's not boring.
But that's what I enjoy.
My life is just work. But that's boring, right? But that's the truth about it. I'm on my laptop all day, every day. I have 18 hours a day of screen time. I'm either training or I'm working. Do I know some women? Yes, of course. Do I have some fancy cars to drive? Yes. Can I go to the odd restaurant? Yes. But the majority of the time, all I do is work because that's what I enjoy to do. I don't think most things outside of work are as entertaining as the work itself. That's why I'm successful.
I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car and going to another meeting, work. I'm going to go to the gym so I'm in good shape, work. It's all work. My entire life is work. And people don't want to look at life that way. They want to talk about work-life balance and being lazy and all this crap. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in if you want to win, you have to outcompete the man who's prepared to do nothing but work. It's player versus player. If you're going to sit there and go, I don't want to work more than an hour a day, well, the guy who does want to work more than an hour a day is going to beat you. And no matter how smart you are, there's always a smart dude who's doing the same smart work you are for more hours than you're doing it. That's just the nature of the game.
Winners work as hard as possible and still worry they're being lazy. This is absolutely true. Lazy people will work a little bit and go, oh, bro, I just can't catch a break. Whereas people who are genuinely winners work all the time and still feel like they're not working hard enough. So I can always tell by somebody's mindset very early on if they're going to make it or not.
I think that a lot of people don't understand that it's all of the challenges and struggles that's going to make them, it's either going to make or break them. I don't read studies very often, but I was sent a study about stress from somebody. It's probably the best study I ever read. And it's talked about the placebo effect of stress. And it said that they took some of the most stressed people in the world, CEOs, etc. And the ones who believed that stress was really bad for them were dying earlier because of the cortisol inside of their blood. And they said stress was really bad for them, they were having heart attacks. But the ones who believed that stress was good for them and it made them perform, I perform under pressure, stress is good for me, they were living longer. So the same drug inside of their blood, how they framed it inside of their mind had different effects on their body. So from that point onwards, even though I already thought this way, I knew I was the right way. I knew it was the right way to think innately because I've done pretty good in life that way. But this confirmed it. Every time I feel stressed or under pressure, I get excited. hate to not be stressed. I wake up and I'm like, everything's fucked. Good. Yes. Like, that's just how I am, right? But it's how you adopt, it's how you look at the problems and how you use them to fuel you. What's the problem for the average man today? What's the biggest problem? I think there's a whole host of problems. But what you have to do is frame it inside of your mind and understand that all of those problems are going to allow you, give you the fuel and the unlimited motivation that you need to become a successful and beautiful individual if you frame it in the right way. If you take a man and give him a life shielded from problems and he never has any to face, I guarantee you he's terrible at being a man. The best men in the world have gone through shit. That's why women love scars. They didn't kill you. That's the whole point of it, right? So the best thing you can do as a man is look and go, okay, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. I feel negative because these are all so difficult. I'm struggling with X, Y, Z. Let me internalize all of that and turn it into a superpower. Let me become genuinely uncomfortable with my situation in life and go and fix things. Because like I said, the universe is absolutely and utterly very giving. And if you truly hated being in the position you were in, you wouldn't be there very long. Yeah. So I think that the number one problem with the world today and the biggest problem that men face isn't the problems themselves. It's just the way that they are been taught to mentally frame issues. People think when bad things happen to them that somehow they're a victim to the universe and bad things only happen to me and this is so terrible. They don't understand that bad things happen to everybody, and the most successful person you know had all those, probably maybe even worse, at least the same bad things happened to them. They just framed it differently and used it. That's the difference. So I don't pray for an easy life. I pray for a life of difficulty that allows me to become a better and better person. I pray to become more competent to handle problems.
Right? You need the people who don't quit. I don't quit. Every single facet of my life is testament to the fact that I don't quit. When people see my plane in the sky, you can say whatever you want about me. You can call me arrogant. You can call me anything you want, but you cannot call me a quitter. I didn't quit. So that's the difference. When it was hard, I did it anyway. That's who I've always been. And if you don't have that kind of tenacity, you're never going to be anything. So I love work. I'm ready to work. I'll dig a hole. Bro, you offer me $1 billion right now and give me a shovel, I'll dig a hole. I don't give a fuck. Give me the shovel, give me the money. I will dig a hole. I'm not afraid of work.
But to me, happiness isn't the giddish, smiling, look at me, I'm happy. That's for children and women. And as a man, truthfully, you get your contentment. I wouldn't even say happiness, but you achieve your contentment through making others happy. I feel content when my children are happy. I feel content when I make my woman happy. I get more from giving than receiving. That's why Christmas is set up the way it is and dad never gets anything. We give. We go to work, we struggle, we make money, we suffer so others can be happy because of us. It's not our job to be happy ourselves. As a man, 99% of the time, you're going to be stressed or annoyed about something that's just happened, currently happening, or about to happen. That's life. We live constantly anxious. We have a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
And you either suffer the consequence of the stress it requires to be a somebody, or you suffer the consequence of having no stress because you're a fucking nobody and you work in Starbucks and then you're a no one.
Yeah.
There's no escape the eternal suffering of man. Women get to be happy. We build these huge empires so women can sit around and, sit with the baby and enjoy their lives. And we're happy to give it to them because we're nice. But happiness is for women and children. So many men say to me, oh, how I don't feel happy. I'm like, so? You think I'm happy? 7 criminal convictions. I got nearly $1 billion. I'm still stressed. I got criminal convictions, work to do. I was up at 6 a.m. I gotta go here, I gotta go there. I've got to train, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. At what point do you think you've earned the right to wake up as a man and feel happy? Have men ever been happy? Name a period in human history where men were happy. Because if I think back, they were all dying in ditches somewhere.
I guess it depends how you define happiness. I'm happy when I'm doing something, when I'm building something. That's when I'm happy.
You're content.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're achieving something.
Like today.
Which is the masculine imperative. But this is effectively work, right? If you wake up and say, no, I don't want to work, I just want to be happy.
No, I'd be miserable. Well, and everybody would be. In fact, I retired at 25 and was miserable after 2 months.
No, winners would be miserable. But losers love it, and that's why they lose.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Losers say all the time, losers have this problem with temporary motivation. A loser will come and say, I really want to change my life. I can't live like this anymore. And they'll mean what they say for about 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then they're happy to go back to being a loser again. They really want it Monday to Friday, but on the weekend, they're happy to go back to how they were.
Yeah.
And that's why they never escape. They never get the terminal velocity required to break free from the atmosphere of mediocrity. So, yeah, I'm conditioned to win. Just like you said, you can't handle the idea of stagnation. You can't handle the idea of retirement. I'm the same. But I'm not going to lie and pretend that mindset means I live stress-free. In fact, I would argue that I adopt endless stress all of the time because I'm looking for problems to solve, because I'm looking for money to make. I'm looking to win.
Young people, a lot of men say to me, especially like, what's fun? And I'm saying, doing what you're supposed to do and fulfilling your duty and being proud of yourself is fun. That's the only fun you need. You don't need the fun of trying to chase all this garbage and this hedonism and this black hole. That doesn't lead anywhere.
Did you do that for a while?
For a while, yeah, certainly.
So did I.
You have to.
Yeah.
Until you get to a point where you realize, okay, this is never going to end. Am I going to continue to go down this path, or am I going to turn around and just skip it all?
Right.
Because it only ends badly. And I think that's also one of the problems with Western society, where the youth are obsessed with fun. If you look at other societies, the youth are not so obsessed with what's fun today. What's fun now? I need fun now. I'm bored. I want fun. You know, they're overstimulated, whatever it is. They're also selfish. They're also self-obsessed with how they feel. This teaching a whole society and teaching a large contingent of the youth that how they feel plays paramount over the world. If you feel sad, that's all that matters. Not, well, I feel sad, but it doesn't matter because I'm doing the right thing. I feel depressed or I feel stressed, but it doesn't matter because I'm dedicating myself. No. What matters is how you feel right now, which means they only want to be happy all the time. And if you're going to only chase happiness and you don't have any particular skills, you're going to end up just chasing hedonism, and this is where you end up. And it's insanity. I think one of the largest tenets of masculinity for the largest period of human time is ignoring how you feel and doing what you're supposed to do because you're supposed to do it. We feel things, but jobs must be done, whether we are happy or sad. And this is also disappearing from the world. I'm stressed probably 6 days a week. I'm pissed off 6 days a week, but things need to be done.
Right.
So you just have to do them. And when you have a whole contingent of the youth obsessed with only being happy, I think this is one of the largest reasons they can psyop them so easily into doing insanity. And I guess it never used to be that way.
No, it was never that way.
And because as a man, you can be anything you decide you want to be. That's the beauty of being a male. You can build your character completely from the ground up, just like a video game. Every single thing about me that people respect, I built. I was not born a world champion kickboxer. I was not born this intelligent or intellectual. I was not born this rich. I was not born this strong. I was not born this confident. I was not born this interesting. I was not born this charismatic and humble and gorgeous and tall and strong and sexy. I was not born none of these things. I became these things myself. So I deserve all the spoils of war. And anybody who decides they don't want to work hard enough to become those things, then they deserve to sit and accept they're my inferior.
If you watch any superhero movie, bad things happen to him. Then he becomes a superhero. Every time. Batman's parents died, he gets to become a superhero. So I think that's pretty obvious in the masculine frame. Bad things have to happen to you for you to become a superhero.
But then bad things have to happen, but that breaks most people, and you have to figure out how to turn that into good.
Correct, absolutely. And that's also why you have to be hard on yourself, but that's also why you need to see bad things as a blessing, because they're the building blocks to make you the man you want to be.
If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life, because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather. Right. You can't control other people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think. If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control, zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place, completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It is trained, like everything else in life. It is trained. So if you find yourself not appreciating what you have until it's gone, then you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to focus or concentrate on tasks, you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to go and dedicate yourself to something you don't want to do, you must blink and cure your brain.
So if you're dedicating yourself and working hard for the future happiness, but especially considering the fact that most people are never happy with what they get and you always want more, your life just becomes hard work and dedication and struggle and suffering, and that's what you just exist within, and you don't operate under the paradigm of happy or sad. To me, it's quite binary. It's not a scale of how happy am I. It's just, has something terrible happened today? Am I distraught? No, then I'm happy. It's almost like there's no such thing as cold. It's just an absence of heat. In space, there's no cold. There's just heat or there's no heat. Well, if there's no despair, heaven forbid a family member dies, if there's no despair, then there's only happiness left. I was happy in jail. I'm happy here. I'm happy in Romania. I'm happy if they arrest me again. I'm happy all the time, because unless something truly devastating happens, it's the only frame I operate under.
I want you to get pen and paper and write down everything you want to achieve in the next 4 years, the children you want to have, the car you want to drive, the money you want to make. I guarantee you every single thing you write down on that piece of paper is going to come true.
One of the questions I get from a lot of people is like, how, like I have I have a nephew, I have a brother, I have a father who's matrix minded. How do I save these people? What would you say? How do we save them?
Well, the easiest way is by example. The easiest way is just to win so ruthlessly that they're forced to accept the brutal reality of their inferiority. The easiest way to do it. And often, especially if they're an older brother or a father or someone who has authority over you, the only way to do it is to just surpass them and say, listen, you didn't believe a year ago. You may not believe now. Let's talk in a year. Do you believe yet? Do you believe yet? The day they need to borrow money, they'll believe. And that's how it works. So often, because it's amazing how people block their mind out to other ideas, because it's very important for people at home to understand that I said this many times before, that there's only 3 reasons why you're not rich. And I stick by this. Anybody on the planet can be rich. And if you're not rich, there's one of 3 reasons. You're either lazy, you're arrogant, or you're stupid. Now, most people think it's stupid. Most people go, everyone's stupid. I would argue that only 5% of people are too stupid to get rich.
True.
There's a whole lot of stupid people with money.
Yes.
You don't have to be smart to make money. You can have a mid-wit IQ. You can have a low IQ. If you can follow instructions, you can make money. Stupid is very rare. People are not stupid. They're one of 2 things. They're either lazy or they're arrogant. So if I had a Ferrari and a map, and it led all the way to the end of a rainbow with gold and a leprechaun, and I gave 3 people the Ferrari, well, the stupid one wouldn't know how to drive, right? The stupid one would be like, I can't drive this car. I don't know how. But that's rare. What you actually have is lazy and arrogant. The other guy, the lazy guy, would say, it's so far. Why is it so far away? And I'd say, look, I built you a Ferrari. It doesn't get easier than this. It's the best it's ever going to be. There's no other better vehicle on the planet. We have no competition, and we guarantee you gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah, but it's a long drive. Well, then do you want it or not? Oh, well, I want the gold. I just want it now. Well, you can't have it now, but you can have it in a few weeks if you start driving now. And if you can't have it now, the best time to start is now, so you have it as soon as possible. Oh, it's far. So you have lazy people, and then you have arrogant people. And I would actually say 5% of people are too stupid. Only 15% of people are too lazy. If you tell the average person, do this, you make money. I'm telling you now, if I had a handle you could turn and money came out, and you put someone there, most people would just stand there all day and go, fuck it, all day. Just staring at the wall all day. Money, money, all day. They're not too stupid to use the handle, and they're not too lazy to turn it. Most people, 80% of people who aren't rich are arrogant. 80% of people, when you try and tell them what to do, they don't want to listen.